it was kind of disheartening. We knew something was going on, we didn't know what. And we found out, and he said, just go home and live your life. We're like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. I mean, at the time I was 33, and I'm 38 now, and that just wasn't gonna happen. I mean, I've got 2 daughters and a wife, and giving up just wasn't an option. Full name, according to the doctors here, is Peter Jeffrey Crowe Jr. They call me Peter, but I go by Jeff. I have spinocerebellar ataxia type 1. There's umpteen different types, but I had the first one, which is, according to the doctors, a good thing because it's the first one that was found. Therefore, they're doing the most research on, which doesn't seem to be the case.
His father actually had SCA, and his father died. And then people started talking about that it was genetic, and so we thought, well, we need to look into it and see kind of what he died from. And once we started looking a little bit more, it was only at that time that we kind of realized Jeff was showing some of the symptoms. If his dad hadn't died, we probably wouldn't have realized when we did, because his symptoms at that time were very mild, not very severe. But within the next year, they came on pretty strong. And within 2 years was right before the time we came here. He had gotten to where he was a high school teacher, and that was going to be his last year teaching. I mean, it had just gotten too hard. He couldn't write anymore. The stress, everything was just really getting too much for him at that point.
When I was younger, all the way up through teen years, I rode skateboards and played drums, and it was just a typical teenage kid. And then it was like the minute I hit 30, it was like all these symptoms. Couldn't walk upstairs anymore without a lot of assistance. I had the double vision, couldn't write well, couldn't talk. Just felt really stressed all the time because all the negative things that were going on that I knew I had no control over. I think that was the worst part, was just the emotional part of it. Just knowing there was nothing I could do, or nothing at the time that I could have done.
We went in to the first doctor, and he said, yeah, something's up. Go to this doctor, a neurologist, and they schedule the MRI and all the tests and everything. The doctor pulls us in, and he shows us Jeff's MRI of his brain and shows us the brain of a normal, 33-year-old at that time, and has him on the thing so we can look. And, Jeff's cerebellum is all shrunk and has big crevices in it, and the other one's all nice and plump, and, and he's showing us the difference. And it's just sort of hitting us like a ton of bricks. And I said, okay, so what do we do? Okay, this is what we have. What do we do? And he said, there's nothing you can do. He said, there's no treatment. There's nothing available. He said, all I can say is go out and live your life and, be the best that you can be as happy as you can be for as long as you live. And we sort of looked at each other like, what? What? That's it? There wasn't really a whole lot of hope. It was hope for in the future. We're doing research. In the future, we will have something. In the future. It's just a matter of that point of, we just sort of turned our minds to, okay, we just got to stay alive until in the future gets here. And that was our fear, is that by the time something gets here, it's going to be too far for us.
We were at my mother-in-law's house, and she had seen a special on TV.
It was on Nightline, and they actually had a patient that had ataxia. We didn't see it, so we, the next day, get up and go to their website and start looking and, just kind of joking, I guess we'll go to China, and then separately, we both start researching it on our own and looking and trying to find out what we can. Because again, you first think, oh yeah, it's too good to be true.
We were skeptical and still kind of are. We not near as much as we used to be, because we've seen such good results. Once we started looking into it, we just just made up her mind, this is something we just got to do.
When you have a disease like ataxia, like Jeff's, there's nothing in the United States. There is, the doctor basically told us to just go home and enjoy your life, what's left of it. So we were looking for something. We were looking for some sort of hope without being unrealistic. And so we thought, we really didn't have anything to lose by coming to try. And when we came 2 years ago, his results were so immediate and so much more than we ever thought they would be, that it just sort of became a no-brainer that once he degenerated, over the last 2 years, that we had to come back.
They were so drastic. I went from, right now I'm a little clumsy still, whatever, but then I was just a complete klutz. just, falling over everything, just couldn't see, couldn't talk, couldn't do anything. And it was like immediately, 1 or 2 treatments, and I was just a different person. I could stand, like she said, on one foot. I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even raise my foot off the ground. We put videos on YouTube, and it was just amazing. People saw, before, and then it wasn't completely after. It was like halfway through. After 3 or 4 stem cell treatments, and it was just like night and day. And I felt so much better just inside physically, that I knew that we were doing the right thing.
I looked back at my blog, getting ready to come this time, and was just sort of reading, and I cried again, because it's like when he started showing improvements, it was so like one day he was this way, and within no time at all, he was so much more steady. And he has double vision when he gets tired. His double vision was gone. He was able to see at a distance. He was able to read up close, and I wrote on my blog, it's like, it was really almost like a miracle, because it's like, I thought people back home are going to think I'm lying, because it came so quickly, and it was so much more than we ever thought that it would be. And so, to witness him, and then, I think after I got over the good feelings, then I just got mad. I got mad because I'm in China doing this. Why do I have to come over here to have something that's so profound and changes his life? Why will the United States not do this? Why is this not a treatment they could do?
The majority of the improvements were while we were here, but they didn't go away immediately when we got back home. The majority of them stayed for around 1.5 years, but then it was like I hit a wall. It just kind of went away, and I progressed back to where I was the original time before we came.
He just kept saying to us, from a medical standpoint, from what he understands of the brain and the body and all that, he just kept saying, I don't see how it can work. If you put it in your spine, he just kept saying he doesn't see how it could help your brain. So he just can't wrap his head around how it works. He could look at Jeff, he said, obviously it works. We even talked about the whole placebo effect. He goes, there's no way. He said, a placebo effect isn't going to make you stand on one foot when you can't do it. He said, that's not the same. He said, I guess for him, he just doesn't really understand exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how it's working.
We were sitting there, it was around February, and she said, we need to talk. I was like, okay. She said, I think we need to go to Disney World this summer, just to get away. And I said, well, I think we need to talk. She said, about what? And I said, I think we need to go back to China. And it hit her like a ton of bricks. She had in her brain that we were going to Disney World. I was like, no, we're going to China. I was coming here, and like she said, I knew I would be better. All right, I know I'm going to be better. And like, what's coming better this time? This is why I'm here, so what's going to get better this time? And I'll come out and, after 6 hours of flat on the bed, I'll get up and, something feels better. It's amazing. It's different this time. She has noticed, I know I sound a little slurry, but she said my speech has improved tremendously. This time it's more fine motor than gross motor. Last time I was able to, stand on one leg or walk a straight line or whatever. This time I feel like, I can just do small things a lot easier than I could before. Brushing my teeth and, picking little things up and just small things. Yeah, and the vision is just vastly improved.
I always talk about there's Jeff, a cup, and we come over here and we fill up his cup, and he's fine. But with ataxia being degenerative, he has a hole in the bottom of his cup, and as soon as we put it in, it's going away. Well, if there was something in the United States where it was more, convenient to get this, to get a treatment every 6 months or once a year, or I don't know, and just keep his cup full, To
know that the good effects that I have now are going to be here for a while, but then they're going away. And to know the only help that I can get is to come here. Because there's absolutely nothing in the States. So it is kind of sad. Just to know that to be on the upswing and have everything going good now, and being able to get around and do whatever with the girls, and just to go here and do this and do that. But to know that within a year to a year and a half, 2 years or whatever, it's probably going to be gone again.
Jeff came last time, and he had 2 good years. He helped with the girls' softball teams. He was independent. He, could do everything anybody else can do. Isn't that what you want out of life? And how could you say that, coming here is not worth that? That's all he has at this point, is his quality of life. We don't know for sure if this, is helping his length of his life, but it's obvious it helps his quality of life.